we are back once again with the Packard Bell Packmate 1, also known as the PB686. If you remember, this weirdo was missing the CPU. Now, it just so happens that I've got a CPU here. This is a 12 megahertz 286 processor in a PLCC form factor. Now, it's been a long time since I've put a PLCC chip into a socket, so I'm going to make an assumption here that's probably wrong, and someone's going to laugh at me when I invariably blow the machine up. But my understanding with these is that this little dot right here is supposed to line up with the notch right there. So that is how I'm going to do this. And again, someone will probably point and laugh when invariably I've got this wrong. This is something of a pain to do. It does not want to go into place. So maybe I do have this wrong. Okay. It's in place. Hopefully that's correct, and that none of those pins are broken on the either the socket or on the chip. I don't know. Something about this is not really filling me with confidence, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll put the IDE controller back in place. The other thing I'm going to need, because this doesn't have one installed, is a video card. And that begs the question, well, what video card do we use? I'm going to see if I can maybe find a VGA card sitting around here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have one, but if not, I think I still have the video card from the XT class Packard Bell still sitting around. Okay, some bold assumptions that I'm making. I'm assuming that this ATI Small Wonder is actually working. I couldn't find any VGA cards, so that's the option that I had. So that kind of sucks, but I don't know if it works. I've got it set to monochrome mode for a digital monochrome monitor, which is what I believe this is. I've got the disk controller in place with the cable's there. I've also got this post card in place, and of course the CPU is down there. So, is this going to work, or is it immediately going to go into halt and catch fire mode? I don't know. I hope there's no shorts to chassis ground, because everything on here is metal. So, here we go. That is a Samsung power supply, by the way, because the OEM for this system would have been Samsung. This cable should be live. Something just went pop. I don't like that. I really don't like that noise. Okay. No, I didn't hit it hard enough. It might be working. Yeah, it might be okay. Yep, sounds like it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the monitor, find the keyboard, or get a keyboard plugged into this, and we'll see what happens. Okay, there's the system with a keyboard and a monitor, and people are always complaining, the monitor's too far away, I can't read it. Wouldn't kill you to buy yourself a better monitor with a better upscaler, you know? Anyway. Well, I have no video. Well, this is the closest that I've gotten, and it's probably going to be the end of the video for now, because I need a VGA card. Because I don't think this thing is working properly in the CGA mode, which I've got it set to right now, CGA with a monochrome monitor. You can see it's not thrilled about that. Neither is the monitor. But if I try running it in monochrome, which is what it should be running in, if we come back here to the dip switches, that's this switch right here. Nope, not that one. That won't work. That'd be bad. This is what it should be, monochrome with a monochrome monitor. I just get no picture. And I'm afraid to try the analog because I don't know what the analog is going to do. So there's one thing. I'm gonna have to look at the dip switches for not the dip switches, but the settings for the main board. See if maybe I can find something. Okay, there is a jumper right there, JP2. That is for the monitor type select. It was set to color. I've now set it to monochrome, I think. I know that I changed it. Let's see what it does now. It is no happier. So that didn't help. In fact, that might actually be, once again, worse. Okay. So I have the motherboard set to monochrome. I have the Small Wonder card set to CGA with a monochrome monitor. With this. And this is what we're getting now. I still think this is being driven inappropriately. Number one, because the font is so small, and number two, I can hear the switching frequency, or the sweep frequency. And normally with this monitor you don't hear that, or at least it's not quite that loud. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to plug in the floppy drive, because that's unplugged. And then I guess I'm going to figure out a hard drive. I'm going to have to do all of that at some point. I might as well make it now, because it is running. And then at some point in the future, this will get a VGA card, because it seems to me like we've got a problem here, and it's not like on that ATI Small Wonder video card, which is the only ISA video card I got sitting around, unless I cannibalize something else. I suppose I could pull the card out of the CompuAd that's sitting over there, but I really just don't want to, so we won't. Okay, with the floppy drive this time. Generally helps if you have the computer plugged in. Yeah, you can see the sweep frequency on that change. But the floppy drive did seek. The frequency should not change when the floppy drive goes off. So we'll pull that, or we'll leave that. Now for a hard drive. Here's the drive that I'm going to use. I believe, but I'm not 100% certain, that this is out of that Wang 386 that I had for a little while. It was battery bombed. It does say Seagate on it, but this is not a Seagate drive. This is a rebadged Imprimis Swift drive from when Seagate bought Imprimis from Control Data Corporation. I know I have another machine. I think it's the that DEC Station 486 that's got a SCSI drive, Imprimis Ren 6. This is much along the same lines. Unfortunately, there are no CHS parameters printed on this drive, which you need for older systems like this. Fortunately, the information about this drive is available on the retro web, including but not limited to the CHS parameters. This is a 230 megabyte hard drive, although obviously less some content settling and shipping. Okay, so this is interesting. This drive must be a unicorn. The reason why I say that is because the jumper manuals for this drive, the Seagate ST1239A, show two different possible drive configurations. Actually, I'm sorry, three different possible drive configurations. What they call an original AT connection, either with a 10 position jumper block or a 14 position jumper block, or a shrouded AT connection with an 8 position jumper block. This one has a 12 position jumper block. So that's great. Doesn't match anything. So I've made an assumption here. This is a more modern IDE ribbon cable. You can see it's got a notch on it. There's a notch on this drive. The red stripe, which is pin 1, is on the left side of the notch. So that is what I have done here. It's a little bit harder to see on this cable because it's just a bunch of red dots, but it is on the left of the notch. Now, is that correct or not? I don't know. IDE is supposed to have, or at least I believe, it's got some stupidity protection built in if you hook it up wrong. So check out how well that fits. It's like a perfect fit for this machine. And I'm glad that I got the hard drive screws for that. But it might be nothing if this blows up. It's got some stupidity protection, but who knows? I guess they expected that you would either know what you're doing or you wouldn't be doing this and you'd take it to a authorized service dealer who knew what they were doing. Well, here goes nothing. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Well, it didn't. That hard drive sounds like crap. It just clicked. Okay. Let's go into setup here. And we'll see if we can configure this system the way it should be configured. Okay, a couple interesting things here. I can't put in any CHS parameters. There's no option for me to do that. So I'm setting it to 47. We'll see what happens with that. Because I think that's a user type. I'm not sure why it's not letting me put in anything. So, I don't know. This is a very primitive Phoenix BIOS. The other interesting thing I've noticed, this RAM is set up completely incorrectly. But I can't adjust it. Oh, there we go. It should be 640K. We'll see what that does. Of course, there is no coprocessor. I'll hit escape to reboot on that. Yeah, it said missing operating system. It did try and read the drive, though. So that's neat. Definitely interesting. Let me see if I can find a bootable floppy diskette for this. Alright, here's some Packard Dell diskettes. Let's see if they work. Let's see if the floppy drive in this machine's any good. Yeah, sounds like it's trying. Warning, share could not be loaded for large media. Insert select diskette in drive A. You know, This is DOS 4.0. That's the shell. This is the select diskette. I guess we're doing a DOS 4 install. Insert install diskette in drive A. Well, this is going to be entertaining. So, remember back in the day when you had to swap floppies like this? Here's the install diskette. Alright, welcome to DOS 4 of the select program. We have... Oh, I guess these are 360K. I didn't know that. To install DOS onto a fixed disk, you need one blank diskette. Why do I need a blank diskette? That's weird. Okay, we'll continue anyway. Introduction. Specify function. Well, this is weird. I guess that's for optimizing your base 640K of RAM. Choose to balance. Accept the predefined stuff. Install onto drive C. To select option 1, press enter. How many printers? 0. Sure, install the DOS shell. Accept configuration and continue. Before proceeding, Select needs to make a copy of the install diskette, blah blah blah. Okay, well, I'm going to have to see if I can find a sacrificial disk for that, because I don't really care, I don't need that. So, leave the install diskette and press enter. I believe this is running in slow mode. Yeah, this is running in slow 8 megahertz mode, based on where that position is. So I believe that I can change this. I think if I do Control-Alt-Number-Pad plus. Nope. That did not work. Okay, I'm going to go get another sacrificial diskette, and then we'll see where we go from there. Now, I hope I didn't damage that disk. Let's try F3 to exit. You've chosen to end select. No, it wants a diskette for some reason. I wish it didn't. It's really silly. Let me see if maybe there's a way around this. Yup, that's the end of the video, because it has decided now that it is no longer going to read my install disk. After trying that little charade. So, wonderful. Isn't that nice? So I guess that's the end of the line for that. And at some point, I will have to revisit this. I'm probably going to end up switching out that drive for a 3.5-inch drive, because to be quite blunt, 3.5-inch would be infinitely more useful to me anyway, so that's it for that for now. At least we know the system works, I guess. That hard drive sounds great, doesn't it?